In the last few days, I have seen literally anything on the internet. Some sources claim that Ukrainians shot down 18 missiles and drones, including 6 Kinzhals with 16 Patriots, and the Patriot system is unscathed. Some others claim that 2 Kinzhals destroyed an entire Patriot battery that wasted 30 weapons trying to intercept them. Please, grow up. This is an event that has important reputational and moral impacts on both sides, so a shared version will take time to emerge. I won't be surprised if we will have to wait until after the end of the war to clarify all the aspects. If I had to guess, I would say that the truth is somewhere in the middle, as it often happens. What is sure is that in the night between the 15th and the 16th of May, there was a coordinated Russian missile attack on Kyiv, with various weapon types. The local air defenses reacted and launched several missiles, and missile explosions were seen in the air, and 2 large ground-level flashes and booms were noticed. This is what we have seen from the videos posted on social media. And then there are the declarations from the two sides. The one thing that they agree on is that Patriots and Kinzhals were involved. But none of them is fully credible. I know, CNN citing anonymous US officials says that one launcher was lightly damaged and that was it. The Russian MOD says that they destroyed or damaged 5 of the battery vehicles. From one side, it would have been reasonable to show some pictures of the undamaged systems to incite the Russians to do more. From the other side, it is very unlikely that 2 missiles destroyed 5 vehicles distributed among a large area in an airport. I'm not going through the specs of the systems because you can find them on Wikipedia or on several other sources. I mean, if you're here, you already know what we are talking about.
I apologize with the viewers for his laziness. We present here the specifications of both systems. Feel free to pause the video to read all the details.
What I can offer you on this subject are some considerations based on what I have seen on videos and what I can infer from some of the news. The Patriot engine leaves behind a heavy smoke trail, but not all the missiles involved seem to leave one. So it is possible that other types of air defenses were involved. However, this may be simply a consequence of a drastic difference between the night performance of the phone cameras used to film the videos. Most of the trajectories we saw were almost vertical, as if to intercept a target falling from above, which is consistent with a ballistic or a semi-ballistic weapon like the Kinzhal or the Iskander. These seem to emerge from 2 different sides. It could be simply 2 launchers in a distributed configuration, or some other missiles from another battery could have been involved. In this case, they could have been even an S-300 battery for what we know, or even a NASAMS, even though the AMRAAM that is used by the NASAMS doesn't leave a smoke trail. Juristy? Well, those are unlikely. However, some other trajectories that we saw were relatively flat, so it is possible that the systems were trying to engage Kinzhals and cruise missiles at the same time. Some observers have pointed out that 2 misfires out of 32 launches were visible. I personally couldn't identify them, but the Patriot would not be new to these events. There are famous videos from Saudi Arabia showing the missile arching toward the ground after launch. This is obviously not the norm. In Saudi Arabia, it managed to intercept a good percentage of the threats directed at it, and a few failures made the news, and they were amplified by social media, creating what is probably a not so generous consensus around the weapon. This is the nature of missile defense. You are expected to be perfect, and nothing is.
Well said, for a human, sir.
Thank you, Otis. The Russians claim of having fired 2 Kinzhals, the Ukrainians claim of having hit 6 of them. The discrepancy may be due to the Kinzhals having used penetration aids that successfully simulated a missile on radar. The Kinzhal is believed to have, like the ground-based 9M723 counterpart it was developed from, 6 dispensers, each one housing a penetration aid device. It is not known, at least not in the public domain, how they work, but they could have simulated a target that was then engaged by the Patriot battery. The sources also seem to agree that the battery was placed in the area of Giuliani Airport, southeast of Kyiv. This map was found by a skier from the Discord channel. It is of Russian origin because you will never find a Ukrainian equivalent for obvious reasons. The placement makes sense if the intent was to defend the center of Kyiv. In fact, ballistic and semi-ballistic missiles are most likely going to come from the northeast for, well, obvious geographical reasons. Placing the launchers slightly behind the target allows the weapons to fly a slightly more energy-efficient trajectory, particularly when the target is near and closing in fast. I can't help wondering why they are using their premium defense system to protect what is mostly just a political target. True, the Russians did attack it, and in the past they attacked the power and communication infrastructure in the city too. However, I would think that the Patriot could be best used to deny the airspace above the unit concentrations required for the expected offensive. After all, offices and commands can be protected passively, for example underground, but combat units can't. I don't believe that they are there to protect the civilians, because missile debris can be almost as destructive and lethal for the civilians as much as a Russian missile that missed the target. This may not be a mistake, but rather a deliberate choice. It may be a calculated move to give a target to the Russians to spend their ammunition against. The Russians cannot ignore a Patriot battery for the symbolic importance, but even if it is destroyed, the overall damage to the Ukrainian war effort is minimal. And maybe this is the reason why the Russians did not repeat the attack. So this is everything I think I can say at the moment. As usual, we can only wait and see. But if you don't want to wait and see, there are plenty of other videos about hypersonic weapons on this channel, and they're going to appear beside me. In the meanwhile, thank you very much for watching. Thank you to all those who are supporting the channel on Patreon or by being a member or by one-off donations, and see you next time.